But I think here's the challenge. Life is not perfect. We all get hurt. Now the question is, how are we going to deal with the hurt?
What would you consider the life of a complete man? Like, what is it to, I'm a 16-year-old boy. I'm a 20-year-old man. I'm a 25, 30-year-old man. I don't know if I want to give up the playboy lifestyle. I'm enjoying myself, I don't want to get married. Too many risks of getting married and family, and what if she does this, and what if she lies to you? What if she takes half of everything you got, and you got a kid and you're living a divorced life and you got to go back? Why would I want to do that? Why not just live a regular life? And maybe in my 40s, 50s, 60s, I can always have kids later on in my life. What would you say is the life worth living for a man, and why?
You have just done a very good job describing why so many guys don't want to get married. And it's tragic. And some of it I understand. They've watched their parents go through a messy divorce. There's been pain off the charts. And yes, that is tragic. But I think here's the challenge. Life is not perfect. We all get hurt. Now the question is, how are we going to deal with the hurt? And I'm tempted to wrap a cocoon around me to protect myself from ever getting hurt again. But that often leads right into bitterness, cynicism, loneliness, and that's tragic. So the challenge is to experience the love of Christ, the love of God, His healing, and allow Christ to be the security in your life. And then based in that security of His love and His truth, His presence with you, to then heal and reach out and begin to make commitments to people, which leads us into the second point. Marriage is a commitment. And in our culture, commitment is a dirty word. I don't want to commit to you. I want to leave my options open. The problem with that is it leads to loneliness. It leads to superficial relationships. It leads to trivializing life. When you make a commitment to a person, you bring security into their life by telling them, I'm going to be with you till you die. Do you know how much security that brings into another person? Do you know how much strength that brings to another person? And then when you bring little children into the world and love them with the love of God and celebrate them and get to know them and watch them develop, it is absolutely incredible. It brings so much joy, so much delight to life. But it's scary how many people say, no, I'm going to have sexual liaisons. I'm not going to make a commitment because I'm scared and because I've also been hurt and I don't want to go through the mess that my parents went through. So therefore, I'm not going to get involved. That is a tragic decision.
Somebody may say, come on, Cliff. You're the son of a pastor, man. I mean, your father and your mother set a great example. 56 years married, 6 kids. Your dad spoke 5 languages. My dad only spoke 1 language. Shut up and get the hell out, right? You don't know my life. You don't know what I lived. You don't know the stuff that I had. If you had lived my life, you would also never get married and never want to have kids and da-da-da-da-da, right? What do you say to him?
First point is, no Christian's perfect, and my mom and dad were not perfect. My mom and dad had a lot of pain in their life, and we 6 kids growing up in their home experienced some really stony, quiet times, as well as some verbal barbs that were pretty mean. And if anybody tells me we're not sinners, I'm going to say, I'm sorry. That couldn't be further from the truth. Because my mom and dad were devoted to Christ, but they struggled in their marriage big time. Now, I'm not going to base my life on my mom and dad. I'm going to base it on Jesus Christ, on the living God. I've been thinking about this, Patrick. When I'm about to die, God could say to me, Cliff, if you have built your security on anything or anyone other than me, you're going to lose it right now. Cliff, you're going to lose everything except me. And that's what real faith is. My security, my identity is found in Christ and in God. Therefore, I don't have to be afraid. I don't have to live a life responding to the pain I've experienced growing up. Instead, I can be secure in Christ, strong in Him, and then reach out and, yes, take risks. And of course, marriage is a risk. You bet it's a risk. But it's a risk well worth taking, I would argue.